Hey, this is Sean Taggart, and I want to tell you about the podcast that I do here on the Countout Podcast Network, Pure, a Ring of Honor Wrestling retrospective podcast, where I dive into the deep history of Ring of Honor and talk about the shows, the hits, the misses, the memories that Ring of Honor gave you during the time periods between 2002 and 2021, and maybe more to come. You can catch me out every other Monday on the Countout Podcast Network, wherever you get your podcasts.
You're listening to a Countout Podcast. So, Curtis, I got to tell you, after watching Hyper Battle, I am hyped. There is a hot new babyface in the territory. He's up and coming. He's taking names. He's winning it for his team, and I'm talking all about Jado. Can you be any more fired up about this young man? He's absolutely killing it.
We've for so long we've been asking for like aces to come back to the junior division, and it's finally time.
It is.
You know, we've got that hot new ace. He's gonna rule the roost, man. Despy, watch out.
Yep.
Hiromu, watch out.
Yep. Watch your ass. ELP, watch out. Taiji Ishimori. It doesn't matter because you've got all of the experience mixed into one young explosive package, and I, for one, cannot wait to see what comes next.
Speaking of young explosive packages, maybe we need to introduce ourselves to the. You like that transition, didn't you?
That was next level segue from you. I love it.
Yeah. Well, my name is Curtis Spears, and thank you for tuning in today to the Okada Shorts Podcast, Episode 3. And you're here with us, the Kings of Pod Style, the International Wrestling Grand Prix, Okada Shorts. With me, as always, Rafe Houston, your friend, my hero. How you doing today, Rafe? You all right, buddy?
What it is, what's up? Yeah, I'm good, man. I am awake. Rafe.exe has powered up at 6 o'clock in the morning. It actually took me, looking at this time, 55 minutes to get powered up and get on the phone with Curtis, who's awake at midnight in the UK. So I appreciate your patience with me, man. But like, eyes were at 30%, you know, ears would not engage and hear alarm, you know, all these kind of things.
Full on vacation mode. But
yeah, well, that's it. We're talking third day of vacation, third episode of Okada Shorts, third day of vacation. And I cannot.
3 shows we really need to talk about.
Yeah, 3. It's all about the threes, the power of 3. So let's not waste any more time because I know you're returning from vacation like tomorrow. I think you said you'd worked no more than 3 days as well.
Oh man, yeah. I recently had a bout with COVID.
How you feeling?
I had a week.
How you feeling? You're clear? You're good?
So I tested clear today. If I test clear tomorrow, I can go back to work. I'm not sure 100% if I'm going to be able to. I've been in the isolation station here for like the last 6-7 days. Ooh, it's been tough. Luckily, I have a beautiful wife. I have a little pug, and I have all my little Warhammer miniatures to paint. And I'm just fine.
I got to say, some people say it's hard isolating. And I've never really had to do it yet. I've done like 3 days or something like that through all of COVID. Like I was able to work through it and stuff. And I'm incredibly lucky because of that. But when I say that I would fucking thrive in isolation, like I can't even stress it enough. Lock me in this fucking house and leave me here because I would just have the best time of my life. Like people are like, you know, you don't know what it's like here. No, not for me. Like this is my happiest place. My wife and I built this apartment with the intention of it like being sort of our sanctuary in the world. And I could be here every single day forever. As long as food comes to the door, like I'm good. and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much
Dude,
to do.
that's the thing. When lockdown first happened and we couldn't go anywhere, my wife barely noticed. Like,
She's like, what's happening now? Exactly. That would be me. There's so many like projects I want to do, things I want to start, shows to watch. Like, I started this, like, my podcast with the intention, like, lockdown's happening. This is something I'm going to do. This is the, excuse. Once I'm eventually locked down, I'll really be able to focus on it. But it just never came. And, like, I started the podcast, like, intending to have all this time, but then I was just doing it as well on top of my normal workload. And I'm like, That said, though, I don't want to take away from how hard I'm sure it has been for some people.
Definitely.
Doing that. And I'm just saying that me personally, I think I would thrive. In fact, today we're going to talk briefly about Lions Roar, the New Japan documentary that finished. Should we just talk about it real quick? Because
let's talk about Lions Roar first.
It's fresh in my mind, and it's kind of relevant to this. So, for those who don't know, Lions Roar is a New Japan documentary that's on New Japan World that follows the Fale Dojo. Tox Fale, the Rogue General from the Bullet Club, has his own dojo in New Zealand, designed to be sort of like a feeder system for the Young Lion system in New Japan, which is up-and-coming training and young boys and all that. And he takes intakes, and then people, stay there. I think it's supposed to be 3 months or something like that, and learn the ways of New Japan and training in pro wrestling, proper respect and all that, to hopefully become a candidate to become a real young lion and move to Japan and train there, and then potentially become a New Japan pro wrestler. And it was great. It was like a really cool look behind the scenes, and every sort of trainee kind of had their own episode a little bit. It concentrates on everybody, but you sort of get a little peek into everybody's story. And yeah, none so more than Michael Richards, who is kind of like the one who's been there the longest. He'd been a young lion, or training to be a young lion, for like 7 years, like by the end of the show. And that's crazy, the dedication it takes for somebody to do something for that long, but with no real end goal in sight. And in the show, they talk about, like, it's a lifestyle, and that it really drills that home as it happens. What did you think of the documentary itself, man? Did you enjoy it?
I love the documentary. I was actually watching it week to week as it was coming out.
Yes.
And so thank you for watching it all in one go recently.
Oh, so no, I was watching it week to week, but I just fell behind the last 3 or 4 episodes. So I just shotgun those like yesterday.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of the rookie standouts. Who did you actually? So at the end of the show, they are given 3 of them are given contracts. There's the possibility of a 4th one, but he wasn't able to continue the training, which is unfortunate, because I was really pulling for that guy. Should we just go ahead and talk about the 3 that were given contracts?
Absolutely.
Okay. So Michael Richards, good for him, was actually given a contract, which the whole show would have been an absolute like disaster if he hadn't been able to actually overcome, because he was fantastic. There was also Jake. Jake was a fellow from Aussie. Was
Jake Taylor? Yep, exactly.
Jake Taylor. He was great. Really like tall, handsome dude, bucket loads of charisma. Looked like he knew his way around a ring. So it was really good to see him. And then there was Villalobos. AV was what they were calling him on I can't remember his first name. It was Andre maybe. But AV was, I think he was my personal favorite. He was the one that I kind of gravitated towards. I thought that he really had something. And so when they were handing out the contracts at the end, they handed one to Mike, they handed one to Jake, and then I saw they handed one to AV, and I was like, oh, good, got one in there.
Yeah.
There was also, was it Richard Mulu? Yeah, he was a
unit.
He was great. He was a big Samoan or Tongan fella, island boy, and he was bucket loads of charisma. The dude, like, he was making faces like during his matches that just had got you psyched and amped up, and you're like, this dude could be a monster. And like, you saw the heart while he was training and things like that, and like a never give up attitude.
Yeah. His
And
episode
I
was really special, where he talked about like cardio and that being like the hardest thing for him. And he's like, I was always coming last and I felt like I was keeping everybody down. But then Fale essentially told him, he's like, you're going to win at other things. I'm not looking for the person who wins all the time. I'm looking for the person that never gives up. And that's what he took to it. He's like, okay, I'm going to be last these days, but I'm never going to stop. And then on these other days, I'm going to succeed. And
he really, really tugged at my heartstrings. And I really wanted him to pull ahead. He was a lot of fun to watch, and unfortunately, he couldn't continue with the training. Had to go back to a shoot job. Felt really, really bad for him at that. I hope that he's able to come back soon.
Same.
Was there anybody else that stood out in your mind?
Those three always from the start. I was aware of Jake and AV Reddy. Well, actually, Michael Richards as well. I was aware of all three from, wrestling, but AV and Jake from Australian wrestling, and then Michael Richards from when he appeared in New Japan a while ago.
The Young Lion Cup.
Yeah.
Right.
And he talked about that. He talked about how, like, he didn't think he was ready. He wasn't, like, in the shape he needed to be. He talked about, like, an interaction with Rocky Romero, where he, dressed him down and told him he wasn't ready and all that stuff. And that sort of lit a fire in him. And then he went on to become, like, the hardest working dude there. He became, like, the top young boy in the dojo and, like, the senior guy and really, leading the whole pack. And it was super interesting because the documentary series takes place over COVID. And it was really interesting to see because they were put in a really hard position. I mean, it's hard doing what they're doing anyway. But if you can remember all the way back to how COVID started and how it felt and how scary it was, like they're dealing with that. A lot of them are away from home, and it's kind of like now flights are cancelled. Now you're staying here. No, you're not supposed to train. Like you're supposed to do the thing, and they're sort of put in that situation. And so when they get that word, I think they said they had 4 hours to make the decision. Essentially, word came down from the government that lockdown was going to happen, at midnight or whatever. And so Fale and his head trainer, to their credit, he could just stay in his house, move into the dojo, and they're like, anybody that wants to come with us, come now because we're going to continue training, basically. And a few of them do. 4 students do. Richards being one of them.
Richard was one. Eli, was he the other one?
Yeah, I think so. Was he like the kickboxing type guy?
Yeah, and Michael, and I can't remember who the fourth one was.
Yeah, Richard Mulu, and I can't remember who he was. But they move straight in straight away, and then the others are back at the house. And yeah, they're talking about it, and I guess at one point, like the people at the house are still training, but they're not getting filmed, and they reach out to the film crew to be like, "Hey, you can film us here if you want." And Fale and the head trainer get really annoyed because they feel like
threw the book at them.
Yeah, they feel like they're going behind their back, kind of thing. It's like, well, you didn't want to be a part of it, and now you got to think. And in the end, they say, look, if you want to be in it, get your shit and sort of essentially break the law and move into the dojo with us. And they're like, the hard decisions come all the time, and if you really want it, you do this. And that's such a hard decision to be faced with, and because it's very easy to be, I'm dedicated to this thing, but you're talking about the law, you're talking about health. Think about how scary COVID was, man. Like when you don't know what it was and you can't fly out, and then now you're going to go live in a dojo and potentially be in trouble with, another country's law enforcement, and like the police come there all the time and stuff. It was pretty intense,
Yeah, just imagine if they'd gotten caught and like some of the Aussie boys, were over there, they could have gotten in trouble in another country. Like,
could get straight up banned from ever going to New Zealand again. And
yeah, they don't know what the prisons are like in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Like,
I can tell you, if I was in New Zealand and I went to prison there, I wouldn't survive it. I can tell you that. Like,
I was probably bad dudes over there.
I would say so.
Like,
You ever
there's
seen
bad
Once
dudes
Were
everywhere.
Warriors? It's a wrap on me. Like that's it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I can only imagine what it was like to sort of make that decision. But when you talk about Richards, he was like the first dude in the dojo. You know what I mean? He didn't even stop. At that point, he had dedicated so much of his life to it that he was going to see it through all the way. You know, and then when he gets offered his contract, it's very emotional. Like for him,
Got you
know?
right in the heart, right in the heart, man.
Exactly.
Watching him, like he says, I didn't know how I was going to react, but like I knew how I was going to react.
Yeah.
I was going to get those tears welling up in the eyes. It's like, you did it.
Yeah.
You did it.
It's it was such a valuable look into the lives these guys live. And then now they've built stars, you know what I mean? People are going to be watching to see, you know, these guys at ringside because they've got New Japan contracts. They're going to New Japan. They're going to be doing the ring boy duties at the site, and they're going to become real young lions. And that's pretty amazing. And they've already got fan bases opposed to having to wait until after, you know, their excursion and everything to see what happens.
Yes,
so,
and it's the difference in Michael Richards in 2019 and Michael Richards in 2022 now.
Yeah.
The dude's absolutely lethal. Like beforehand, he was, you know, kind of a little pudgy around the middle, and you could tell he was like he looked like me out there. He's kind of like a little bit confused, you know.
He wasn't ready to be on that stage, and like
he was so in over his head, and then he just absolutely trains and becomes just fucking like razor sharp. And like you see pictures of him now, and the dude's ready for battle, and it's so cool to see. I had to reach out on Twitter and be like, bro, you look like a fucking machine. Like, what a badass. So
it's awesome, man. But yeah, it was a great series, and I would recommend anybody taking the time out of your day to watch it. Each of the episodes aren't very long, you know, and so,
like 20-minute episodes.
And 12 episodes, so you can knock it out. And I hope they do more of it. You know, I don't think you ever get it like in the New Japan dojo. But yeah, it's cool that they can do it there.
It would be cool to see one with the LA dojo guys, but I don't know if Shibata would be down with that. So
yeah, it's the more traditional guys. I don't know if they go LA dojo.
There was a documentary. It was Devitt. There was one that followed Devitt, and they had some stuff in the LA dojo. Smack 'em Up was what it was called.
Yeah, wasn't that in the? I think that had footage in the Japan dojo.
The Noge dojo, yeah.
Yeah.
So let's watch that before the next episode. It's like a hour-long documentary or something like that. Let's rewatch that, and we'll talk about that next time, and we'll see how they differ.
Yeah, cool. All right, remind me to do
little admin on the podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Curtis will use his admin skills to make sure I do it. All right, then.
I'm doing the house cleaning here on the podcast.
Exactly. So before we jump into Hyper Battle that we watched yesterday, let's quickly get everybody up to speed on the finals of the New Japan Cup, because we cut off just before them with our last episode, didn't we?
Our last episode was recorded the day before, and then I went off to play Warhammer that weekend. And it was a lot of fun. I met a new friend up there, a fellow named James. First day of the actual Warhammer event, comes out and he's wearing a Kenny Omega shirt, and I had to walk up to him and I said, "Sir, is that a Kenny Omega shirt?" And he says, "Yeah, it's a Kenny Omega." I said, "I'm going to be watching the New Japan Cup finals after all this is done. Like after I get dinner tonight, I'm going to sit down in the canteen here, the cafeteria, and watch some New Japan on my iPad. Do you want to chill out with me and watch some wrestling?" He's like, "Oh, I've seen a couple of New Japan matches. I haven't seen a lot of them, but yeah, man, let's sit down and watch some New Japan." So I made a new friend.
Right. So was cool. He an AEW guy? Is how he knew
he is Kenny. An AEW guy.
How he knew Kenny. Yep.
And so he's we watched the New Japan Cup semifinals for both matches. Zack and Shingo, and Okada and Naito. And he was really, really impressed with Zack Sabre Jr., made an instant fan.
That's cool.
Which does say something about, the role that Zach's been on. Like if
Yeah.
you watch the Zack Sabre Jr. and the Shingo Takagi match, and then right after it you watch Okada and Naito, and you're not instantly going like, oh my god, Okada and Naito are two of the, you know, the two best wrestlers on the planet right now and things like that, and you like look at the other match and go, those guys fucking tore it down, which they did.
They did.
That really says something about the role that not just Zach but Shingo also has been on. Absolutely just unfuckwithable.
Yeah.
You know, like
That match
you can't
was
mess with
an
it.
absolute banger, man. Like that was so good. Those two together, it's just killer. And the way it ended as well was like, you know, realistic and stuff. Like Shingo trying to just power out of the submission. He's got, you know, Zach's on his back and wrapped around his neck, and he just tries to force it out and climb up the ropes and then jump back on him and break it, but it just doesn't work. And then he just goes out, and it was killer, man.
Yeah, 1 second he's fighting, and the next second he's a
asleep.
lump.
Yeah, exactly.
That was awesome. What a great match. Great time watching. I had so it was me and my new friend James, my little iPad there, that I borrowed from my wife. So it's got like a zebra print, like case on it and everything like that.
Cute.
And a big row full of dudes, and they're all kind of like, oh, you guys are watching wrestling. And by the end of the match, they're all like kind of like behind us, like checking out what we're watching and stuff, because we're hooting and hollering.
I was
So
going to
that was a lot of
say
fun.
that these guys can't be throwing around any shit about wrestling. I mean, they're all there to play Warhammer.
Yeah.
So I think they need to calm down about what they're fucking bullying people about.
Yeah, no, it's actually one of the dudes that was giving me the most shit is my friend Grant from my other podcast, the Throw and Dice podcast. And Grant listens to this show. He listens to Smart Foundation. He listens to me talk wrestling all the fucking time. And yet when I'm actually sitting down watching wrestling, he's like, no way, dude. No way. And then by the end of it, he's actually watching with us.
Yeah, that's awesome. He's just trying to give you shit, but he's actually secretly loving it.
I don't know if an Okada Naito match is actually the best match to like show someone for their first match if you're trying to get him in.
If you were trying to get him in, like the Zack Shingo one for sure, because that Okada Naito match, though good, they were leaving like arrows in their quiver. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they've had some amazing matches. It's clear like there's another match coming, so they just can't. And also it's a semi-final match, and Okada's not going to win. They're not going to just throw balls to the wall. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and the story of Naito
was
sneaking through and stuff. So
they just wrestled the month before as well.
Yeah.
And they're going to wrestle the month after. So like you just can't give it 110%. Zach and Shingo, they were able to do that because God knows when they're going to, end up fighting again.
And New Japan does that really well. They balance out their stuff really well. Like even when Kenny and Okada was like the match of the world, you know, after the thing, they really spaced out when they had their matches, and it was like, you know, at a fever pitch by the time they did it. I remember when they did the final rematch or whatever it was. Like I remember Kenny saying in interviews that even then he thought that was too soon, you know, because he wanted to like stretch it out as far as possible, you know. But because I think and it pays off, you know. Otherwise, it starts to feel samey. But I still think that it was still a good match by all means. But it was definitely leaving, you know, some of the bullets in the gun, so to speak.
Yeah, so I went back after we watched those two matches. I went back and played him a couple more of Zach's greatest hits from the last year. I showed him the Zach and Will Ospreay match that was right before that, the one with the Phantom tap out. That was a lot of fun, you know. So that was pretty cool. So yeah, shout out to James, friend of the podcast, James, who's our new fan that I met at the Warhammer Sleepaway Camp. So that was cool.
Shout out James. That's awesome. And then what did you think of the final?
The final. Okay. So I was 100% just convinced that Naito was going to go. I was pulling for Zach the whole time. I mean, when I saw the marquee, Naito versus Zach, I was like, okay, well, Naito's going to win it, and he's going to challenge at Dontaku and stuff like that. Because at that point, they hadn't even announced Hyper Battle. So I was just like, all right, cool. Then, you know, Glitter Zach, brand new shiny Zach comes out.
The gold gear, yep.
Gold gear, carrying the cup, singing 3 lines on his way down. Like, what a lad. And you just knew it was Zack Sabre Jr.'s night. And you were just like trying to figure out how he was going to end it.
Yeah.
And that was, what a great match. What a fantastic time. What did you think of the final?
Yeah, I loved it. It was really good. And yeah, I didn't know. I wasn't able to watch it live, but I managed to stay spoiler free for like several days. I was just like, I guess I don't go on the internet anymore, like because I really wanted to enjoy it. And I did.
Well, that's good.
I thought it was great. And the fact that he won with the Zack driver as well, like completely spun me out. I didn't even see it coming. So whenever, he does that, usually, it's a secondary finish, he likes to, win by submission and stuff. He hits the Zack driver and I'm like, okay, and kick out. And then I was like, he fucking won. Like, it was how it went down. And I loved it. And I loved it.
A lot of people were getting shocked with their with secondary finishers and things like that in this tournament.
Yeah,
we talked about Tongaloa catching a pumping bomber, things like that. So, and I mean, just Naito was just rolling people up all tournament. So,
yeah, and
they were trying to do something a little different here.
Yeah, it keeps you on your toes. I mean, the pumping bomber isn't even a secondary finish. It's just a move he does in the middle of the match, So, yeah, it was a great tournament. In review, I think one of the better New Japan tournaments like that I've ever watched. Like,
in recent memory, it's up there for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
It's definitely the best one of the COVID era. It's if you take
it was the best thing to happen in the COVID era. Like just straight
100%. Until today, probably.
Yeah, well, Hyper Battle was an absolute banger.
Hyper Battle was it, dude.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's going to be hard for us. I mean, it's obviously been a couple of weeks since the finals happened, so we won't go into it with too much detail. People already passed it and they've already watched it. So I think we'll crank into Hyper Battle. But before we do, I guess, what do we give the entire tournament as far as a rating go? Pants or shorts?
So I'm going to say shorts. I'm going to say shorts on the entire tournament. Once the tournament gets down to like the Sweet 16, it's like the shortest of shorts.
Yeah.
I mean, once you clear out the chafe, the chaff that was there at the beginning,
all the ones that were like the buys, like we're waiting in the second round that you're like 90% of these dudes ain't gonna win. Like once you just get through that, like you say, into that Sweet 16, then it's a banger tournament. If anybody's like, oh, I want to watch it and be up to date and stuff, you could really just skip forward to those rounds, and then
except for Despy and Okada.
Oh, okay. Fuck it. Just watch the entire thing. It's fine. You can't. I guess you kind of.
No, you know what? No, you know what? We did a breakdown of each individual match. Okay, so you have to watch 3 matches at the end. Those 3 are all great. And every other match, you can listen to our recommendations on the other episodes of the Okada Shorts podcast here on the Countout Network.
Listen to the matches rated shorts. Disregard the matches rated pants.
Disregard pants.
Yeah, exactly. Cowardly
Shorts
pants,
only.
Glorious shorts only. Okay, so Hyper Battle's got you hyped. It's got me hyped.
Oh, but first, before Hyper Battle,
what's before Hyper
was
Battle?
Lone Star Shootout.
Oh yeah, I didn't watch that.
WrestleMania week.
Ugh.
Oh,
Ugh.
bro,
Was it good?
it was good. It was good. There were some great matches. I'll go down the Hyper Battle.
Tell me all about it.
Lone Star. Yeah.
Lone Star.
So the first match was my boy Ren Narita defeated Rocky Romero in about 7 minutes and 42 seconds. So that was pretty good. Hold on, let me pull up that's the cage match. I'm gonna pull up the actual like New Japan results page so I can give you the finishers as well.
Okay.
NJPW 19. Usually I do this while I'm vaping while I'm vamping. I don't vamp. I don't vape. What am I talking about? Where's my brain?
Vape Lord Curtis.
Vape Lord Curtis, bro. All right, so yeah, so talking about New Japan Lone Star Shootout coming from Dallas, Texas on April Fool's Day, Friday, April Fool's Day. So the first match, Ren Narita defeats Rocky Romero with the Narita special number 4 in 7 minutes and 43 seconds. This was shorts. It was a relatively short match, but I love Ren Narita. Rocky, when he's in like teacher mode, is a lot of fun. This is when I sent you that text that I used to think that Rocky's like bad rapping was like a character thing that he did.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I thought it was just part of an annoying character trait that he was building, like into his kayfabe
gimmick.
life. And no, he's just an actual bad rapper.
You're like, he thinks it's good.
Yeah, what the fuck do I
like
know, actually?
Roppongi lights and Roppongi nights.
So the second match was Finn Juice with Daniel Garcia, Red Death Daniel Garcia, and Kevin Knight versus Masker Dorado, Carl Fredericks, Clark Connors, and Yu Yu Uemura. So you get to see a lot of the future of New Japan in this match.
Yeah.
Also, you get to see Masker Dorado, who I love a lot, and Daniel Garcia. And everybody loves Daniel Garcia. And you had the win came with Carl Fredericks over the young lion Kevin Knight with the MD. Not a very long match, but a good one. This is fun. There's not even a picture of Killer Cross on the New Japan website, so good.
He's got merch on the shop though, on the New Japan shop.
Does he?
I think I saw a thing.
Why?
It's like the New Japan logo, but the lion looks angrier, and it's maybe upside down, and it says Killer Cross on it.
Get out of my life. All right. So you had Suzuki versus Killer Cross. 9 minutes and 48 seconds with a Gotch style pile driver.
I thought it wasn't Killer Cross. I just thought it was like a young boy or something. It was a young lion.
Oh, that's the thing is Suzuki like straight up just slapped him and said you're a fucking young boy, and then like put him in the Gotch style pile driver, and that was you just planted him. So I know there's not technically anything, like Killer Cross hasn't done anything to like be canceled or anything. He's just kind of a douchebag, but like I can see him at some point getting to Japan and people absolutely fucking love him, you know, because he's just a big angry dude and stuff like that.
I always thought he had like a really sort of big upside, you know, before the WWE stuff and before NXT and things like that, and before he grew his hair back, looked way more mean bald. But he's actually a really good talker. He's I think a pretty good wrestler. He's kind of got like this. If you read his website, I remember, I don't even know if it's still up, like when he went to WWE, when it went down, it sort of, he had like an ongoing story on there of how, I guess, all his different characters and iterations sort of all tie together, you know, the cross cult and all this kind of stuff. He came across like somebody who not only was a student of the game and a martial artist and stuff, but also somebody that really thought about his wrestling character. I don't know whether he's a bit lost now. I haven't really followed him since the WWE stuff because I don't watch it, and I know there's this weird, you know, CYN control your narrative thing. I think he's part of that, and that maybe puts a bit of a stamp on him or whatever. But I was always very high on him before.
Yeah, there's really like nothing wrong with him as far as in-ring work, and he does like really, he's very protective of his character. But like, yeah, Twitter hates him because he's a MAGA chud. So everyone, you know, if New Japan sign him, then they're gonna catch hell from the Western fan base and stuff like that. And I just think that's not the move, you know?
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, they've proven that they don't pay attention to Western social media anyway. Like, I mean, I don't know if they'll care, but you know, I think they're, at least with Strong and stuff, maybe listening to Rocky and the US guys a little bit more. So yeah, I know they're obviously using him. So
I just don't think that Cross has the chops to be in New Japan.
Really?
But yeah, I mean, like New Japan proper, like he doesn't have the chops to go with someone like Minoru Suzuki. Like he would just end up being like another Juice Robinson or something like that. And like someone who can go if he needs to, but he's not that level, you know? You can't really like, I don't know. Let's move on.
Anyway, whatever. Was it a good match or?
It was fine. It was exactly what I thought it was going to be. It was, you know,
slapping, and Suzuki
was definitely outclassing him. Killer Cross, you could tell he's a bad dude, right? And I just don't think that he's got the chops.
Yeah, fair enough. Oh, well, not hot for you.
Now we'll go on.
It'll be interesting to see if we can get a Curtis 180 out of Killer Cross down the line if he ends up, you know, turning up in G1 or some shit.
We'll see. The one that I was very shorts on, Jay White versus Speedball Mike Bailey.
Oh, that's an interesting
Speedball, the Weekend Warrior, dude had like 9 matches over 3 days.
Whoa.
Just, yeah. He had I watched the Josh Barnett Bloodsport,
Yeah, I
and
saw
he
clips
was
of
at that versus, I think it was Yuya. He fought
Ninja
Yuya
Mac,
there.
didn't he? Didn't he fight Ninja Mac at Bloodsport?
No, Ninja Mac was in the second match against someone named Yo-Yo or
Oh
Yo-Yo.
yeah, Yo-Yo. Yep.
Yeah, Speedball fought Yuyo Emura.
Oh,
And yeah, this Mike Bailey versus Jay White match was it, dude. 14 minutes, I think, on the nose. Jay ended it with a Blade Runner.
yeah.
Great stuff, dude. This was one that like I would probably show to people who aren't necessarily New Japan fans, because you've got like Jay runs a very like Western or like I would call it more like a Southern wrestling style, you know, throwback style. And Speedball Mike Bailey is like, he's everything that current wrestling is in the West. Like all the AEW fans can really, like, if they see Mike Bailey, they're going to get behind Mike Bailey.
Yeah, right.
So like you've got a really great intersection of great wrestling there with the Southern style from the 80s that Jay runs, where he's, you know, that classic sort of heel, and then today's wrestling with Mike Bailey. And they ran up together and had great chemistry, fantastic match. Yeah, I think it actually caught 5 from Stinky Uncle Dave. So good for them.
That's hot. That's hot. I'll go back and check that one out then. Don't get to see
That one
many
should
Jay
be
White
on
matches
the-
these days. So,
That one should be on the World Archive probably next week,
oh,
I
okay.
think.
Yeah, sick.
And then the final match was Ishii versus the Dirty Daddy Chris Dickinson. And Ishii won after 16 minutes with the vertical drop brainbuster.
Yeah.
Pretty fucking good match. It was exactly what it sounds like it would be between those two. Dickinson, you know, on his way back on his, like, he was like his first or second match back from his hip surgery.
Yeah.
Fucking way to show out, dude. Like, he had a match with Suzuki at Bloodsport,
Yeah.
which was great. He had a match with Ishii here, which was great. And yeah, overall, like, I'm gonna say shorts on this show, man. Really good stuff. You should check it out.
I will for sure. It's good to hear that Chris Dickinson's back already. I feel like he only got injured like 2 minutes ago, like, and he's already back.
A 4-month injury layoff.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. So when I was a kid, I used to watch the baseball team, the Kansas City Royals, and one of my favorite, well, I still love the Kansas City Royals, but one of my favorite players as a kid was a dude named Bo Jackson.
Okay.
Bo Jackson played professional baseball and professional football. He was a running back for the Los Angeles Raiders. He actually had the same hip injury. This two-sport athlete had the same hip injury that Dickinson had, and it ended his career.
Oh, wow.
He was never the same after all. I think he played football again he played baseball again, but never played football again, and was never any good at baseball anymore. Dickinson came back after 4 months, and yeah, times have changed a bit, but Dickinson like comes out and goes at the same level or better as before.
Exactly. And
the dude's a machine.
He's not like the kind of wrestler that phones it in or just, you know, taking it gentle and stuff. This guy's, you know, bridging suplexes, like hard hitting, like monster of a
hard
guy.
body karate, buddy.
Yeah.
Like,
the
dude's a monster.
Does he feel like to you, and especially when you line up the kind of matches he's just had, Suzuki, Ishii and stuff, do you think they're gearing up to bring him to New Japan proper? Like, he should surely be the kind of person they're thinking, like, this is a dude that we could do shit with.
Yeah. He has to be. Like, if they don't have a plan to bring him to New Japan, if Dickinson's not in the G1, then you need to put the strong belt on him and build that entire show around Dickinson.
Around him, yeah, exactly. Because he's just got everything it takes. Just like,
he's it.
Yeah, he's it.
He's
exactly.
it, man.
Mm-hmm.
And the coolest thing about it is he's so respectful of all the like New Japan higher ups. Like, his match with Suzuki at Bloodsport, the whole idea behind this match is, I had a match with you and I lost. I respect you, Minoru Suzuki, specifically, and I want to beat you. Then he does, and he turns around and says, Tomohiro Ishii, another higher up in New Japan, someone who's been around for a long time. I respect you specifically, and I want to get over you. Yeah. And he's like got these like people that he's picking out specifically in New Japan that he wants to get over at. And like, if that's the the catalyst to get him to Japan, I'm fucking into it, dude. If he goes to Japan
cool.
and he's like Goto, Tanahashi, Okada, Naito, like you're the, I'm calling my shots on you, win or lose. You're the guys I want to go after.
Yeah.
Because I respect you that much. Like I've watched these tapes of Tanahashi and now I want to wrestle Tanahashi. Like, yeah, dude, go.
It's an inbuilt story, and if he's, I know things are pretty free form there, and if that's the kind of thing, like mindset he's approaching it with, and the story he's sort of telling in his promos and stuff, it's built in, like yeah, it could be so cool. But yeah, like you say, if he doesn't go there, it's like build strong around him because he's the one.
He's it, man.
Yeah,
Dirty Daddy's it.
100%.
Yeah, 100% shorts.
Dick strings swinging.
This program is brought to you by Paper, Tutors for All. The last couple of years haven't been easy for students. Kids are struggling. Schools and families are too. But what if there were new ways to help? What if tutoring was part of every student's experience? What if it was available 24/7 and free? When schools choose Paper, students get free 24/7 access to tutors. And if you're listening to this right now, there's a good chance your child's school already has Paper or will be adding it very soon. Visit paper.co and find out more.
Underdog Fantasy is the fastest growing fantasy app and easiest place to play fantasy sports. Play season-long best ball, fantasy drafts where you only focus on the most fun part of fantasy, drafting your team. Just jump on UnderdogFantasy.com or download the app, draft your team, and that's it. Underdog handles the rest for you. No waivers, trades, or setting your lineups each week. And if drafts aren't your thing, they also have a pick'em game where you can win 20 times your money in a single night. Use promo code RADIO, and Underdog will double your first deposit when you sign up with up to $100 in bonus cash. Deposit $100, get $100 free. That's promo code RADIO. Terms and conditions apply.
So now let's talk about Hyper Battle here.
Yes.
Let's pull up the results for Hyper Battle. So, top to bottom, this show would you say it's the best New Japan show of the COVID era?
Yeah, I think so, probably. I felt like it was the best New Japan show in a while. And yeah, you wouldn't really, I would say it is. Yeah, for sure. It was felt like a real return to form. And I think because the New Japan Cup did such a good job making everything feel refreshed and, exciting and like a big reboot, this Hyper Battle just continued that feeling. Like I was so excited to watch it. It was really cool.
It really feels like this is we're at the beginning. Yeah. We're so close. Mm-hmm. We're so close to that finish line, and the journey beyond it is going to be so much fun.
Yeah,
we're at the beginning of this new era. Let's go ahead and get into the matches. So the first match was Jado, Tongaloa, Tamatonga, and Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Gedo, Yujiro Takahashi, Chase Owens, and Bad Luck Fale. So we've got Hiroshi Tanahashi and God versus the Bullet Club. 10 minutes and 28 seconds. Jado, that new up and comer, that young lion,
face. Yeah,
finally gets it over and submits his former best friend, his former tag team partner Gedo with the crippler crossface. How'd you feel about this match and the goings on afterwards?
It was good, man. Time had been short, so I hadn't had a chance to watch like all the sort of tags and stuff leading to this of God tagging with Tanahashi and all that. But you didn't really need to, because as it started, commentary's already telling you that story, and they're like, can Tanahashi really trust them and all that? And watching it play out, it was like a fun multi-man tag, and by the end, Tama, man, all jokes aside about Jado, like Tama is that baby face, like he seems so genuine and he's so into it. And even when the match finished, when they won, I'm like, is this it? Was it all a ruse so they could do it? But like, Tama's like full circle, man, and he's just so pumped to wear that, New Japan shirt and to come full circle. Tongaloa, on the other hand, like, not so much, and I think we might be, looking at a heel turn on his brother sooner rather than later. But yeah,
Ooh.
I think Tama's they're gunning for him to have like a nice babyface run here.
Oh, he's it, man. He comes out. He's a good looking dude. He's got a great body. He's got great in ring talent. They know they can trust him because they trained him up the entire way. And he's going to come out. He's going to speak do an entire promo in Japanese, and the crowd goes nuts. And I just love. You got to be so excited for the guy. It's almost infectious, like how re-energized he is right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Great stuff.
I couldn't have even imagined it like in his former incarnation, and I think we're going to see that from him, man. I feel like it's going to be like the slowest burn of all time, but once he's, gets cooking and stuff, I think you're looking at like a really hot babyface run out of Tama. Like I can see it now.
How do you think he's going to do in the G1?
It's hard to say because I think he's at the very least going to get a signature win in the G1. I don't see him like going all the way or whatever, but he's going to have that like, maybe he feels that kind of juice roll where he keeps getting screwed over and, gets maybe more losses than he should, but then he gets that like one big win where you're like, okay, Tama's going to get somewhere now. That
he gets one over Evil or something.
Yeah, or something like that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We'll touch base again later as we get to the match of where he pops up later in the show. But I'm very excited to see where he goes for sure. And I love him and Tanahashi together. Like they
it's really good.
Yeah, it seems like really platonic and fatherly, and it's awesome.
Yeah. So the next match, Shingo and Tetsuya Naito, the Los Ingobernables de Japón championship rounds, have come up against Aaron Hanare and Will Ospreay. The match was 9 minutes and 23 seconds, and Shingo beats Hanare with the Made in Japan, his secondary finisher. So there's that thing again, the secondary finisher coming out to play and ending the United Empire threat. So the one thing that I've been saying for I don't know how long is that Naito and Ospreay is the protected match. Like I really thought when Ospreay had the belt that they were going to build to a match between him and Naito at some point.
Yeah. I'm sure they would have
so many
not
matches.
gotten injured and gone home and stuff. I feel
Probably.
like that would have been the long term, yeah.
They've had so many matches between him and Shingo, and all of them are great. And we're going to talk about that in a second. But I really feel like Naito and Ospreay is the move, and it's going to happen soon. It has to. Oh my God, these two are so good together, and they're going to have a ton of fun.
Yeah.
You got any thoughts on the match?
It still feels like a little while away though, because they're still on pretty different paths, But once it gets there, it's going to be ballistic.
When I say soon, I mean New Japan soon. You know how New Japan.
Oh, okay,
is.
so 2-3 years away. But when
like a year and a half at earliest.
Yeah, it's like Wrestle Kingdom 2026 or something like that, and it's going to be an absolute banger. I really enjoyed the match. I thought they did Hanare a little dirty getting pinned by the Made in Japan. I would have thought you've at least got to go Last of the Dragon on Hanare, on the Ultimate Weapon. I was like, when they're like, Made in Japan, and it was over, I was like, oh, come on. He gets the secondary finisher? But
I believe it was Kevin Kelly mentioned something about how like Shingo's pinned him before, a couple of years ago with just a pumping bomber.
Okay, so he's upgraded.
He's upgraded.
Oh, there you go. Okay, well, you take it where you can get it. But
how old is Hanare?
Oh, I don't
Do you
know.
know? Let me pull up his profile here. He was born in 92, so he's 30 years old now.
Yeah.
He's still got plenty of time. I know the dude is.
He does, and he's in the best shape of his life. It's just, I just want the best from him. I see how hard he works. You know what I mean?
We all love Hanare.
Yeah, exactly. But they're getting there. That's the thing about New Japan, though. It's like have faith, because the story they'll eventually tell with him will be worth it.
Yes,
exactly. I saw a photo of the new United Empire with their little mate has come in. And they're
Buccione.
all together. Yeah, exactly. And Hanare's there, and it's like, Cobb and that, and Will and his little mate. And I was just like, look at Hanare just on the outside there. He's just still slightly to the right of everybody else, and I'm like, I need to embrace him. I really thought him and Cobb would have been the tag team for me. Like, instead of O'Khan.
Oh my God, just a murderer's row, dude.
Yeah, just, I feel like their styles would complement each other, and I feel like O'Khan is really interesting as like a singles kind of threat. Not that Hanare isn't, but I feel like he would have really benefited from that tag run. But like we say, they're not going to rush anything. You know what I mean? They're going to let him, build organically and become what he's going to become.
I really hope that they're able to do some sort of Freebird rule with the United Empire, where it's just like whoever's in the country is tag team champion. Tag team champions, United Empire.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't hate it at all. But yeah, a fun match. We didn't. Did we rate the first match pants or shorts?
I would say shorts.
Yeah, I feel like that's going to be the default for this whole show, and the same for this second tag here. It was a shorts as well. It was great. Shorts as well,
100%. Afterwards, of course, Shingo points to the Rev Pro British Heavyweight title, kind of says, "Hey, Will, maybe I get a shot at your Rev Pro title." And to that I say, "Oh God, please, yes, please." Yes. Oh man. I love Shingo and Will every single time. I eat it up. Sop it up with a biscuit, son. And if they can bring that to York Hall, they put that in London, I'm right there, buddy.
I saw your
tweet
that was
let me love you.
Let me love you. That would be amazing for you. I really hope that happens. I hope they do that defense in England and not on one of the New Japan shows.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. They can put it on World, afterwards, whatever. I'll be right there. God, I love that. I love that idea so much. They've done it. They've done it in Japan 4 different times. They can do it in London once.
Surely. Throw London a bone,
Give us something, man.
Yeah, exactly.
We get lots of good stuff from them, actually.
Yeah, when you just last year talking about when you saw Suzuki and Okada live.
Yeah. Oh, yes. The Copper Box show where they had the Suzuki challenged Okada after the G1 in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was great. That was the G1 where Zach wanted to just beat Okada during the G1. Didn't want to win the G1, just wanted to beat Okada during the G1 to challenge him at Copper Box.
The whole time he's like, all I need to do is fucking pin the champion, mate. Then I'm going to the title match anyway. I don't give a fuck about the tournament. It was
just got fucked up.
Yeah, exactly.
Just got fucked up. Oh, it was so funny.
I love how New Japan always do great stuff for their touring shows. Like you think they'd maybe not do anything like when they were over here. I mean, I got to see a few good main events, but the last one of their tour was Tanahashi, Ospreay, and Okada tagging against Robbie Eagles, who was Bullet Club at that time, El Phantasmo and Jay White, or maybe it was Farley and Jay White. El Phantasmo, Farley, and Jay White. I forget. But either way, no, Robbie Eagles, Farley, and whatever. Anyway, it was the climax of the I've seen too many matches, but it was the climax of the Robbie Eagles story, but in Australia, where he turns on the Bullet Club, joins Chaos, and all that happened in his hometown, basically, which is really cool because I said to him when he was on my other podcast when we interviewed, I'm like, what was that match like? Because you got to tag against those 3 guys and then tag with them in the same match, essentially. You know what I mean? Because he turns and kind of he swaps in mid-match, and so he fights everybody in the match, and it was just an unbelievable kind of turn of events.
That's ace shit, dude. That's ace shit.
It was ace shit, but because it was this small Australian show, it was really rewarding for everybody that was there and anybody that would tune in, but I don't think it really got the mainstream sort of coverage that it would have if it was on one of the bigger Japanese shows. You know what I mean? I'm sure there was lots of fans that never even watched that Australian show because it wasn't. Yeah. I don't think it was live, and it just kind of aired later and stuff.
It wasn't on. Yeah, it wasn't on World. It got uploaded to World, I think, 2 weeks later.
Yeah. See, and whenever anything super cool like that happens, a couple of weeks, it doesn't really have the same impact. Whereas if that happened at one of the biggest shows live and stuff, I feel like it would have been worldwide news.
Yeah.
But it was killer, and they all posed together, which was awesome. He's just there with 3 legends And then Tanahashi hugged me. It was a great night.
Oh, there it is.
I fit it in every show.
Give me the Pitbull air horns. There it is. We got him.
Exactly. Anyway, on to the next match.
Third match, IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion. Oh, and from here on, every match is some sort of title match.
Yes.
So this card's fucking great.
Stacked.
IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Championship match. Team 6 or 9, the 69th champions, Master Wato and Ryusuke Taguchi versus El Phantasmo and Taiji Ishimori. So we've got the Ass Masters versus Bullet Club's cutest tag team. Match time, 15 minutes and 13 seconds. Ryusuke Taguchi ends by sticking his butt directly on El Phantasmo's face. Just bare ass, spray fart and everything like that, and rolling him up.
The main thing about this match is the 69 spot, which was hilarious.
Oh my God. My wife was cackling with laughter. Like I told you, she's Ryusuke Taguchi's #1 fan. And yeah, she was loving it. So
exactly. For those who don't know what we're talking about.
If you can make my wife laugh.
Yeah, you're doing well. In this spot, Master Wato is hanging from the Tree of Woe upside down in the corner. And then basically Taguchi gets swung into him. So, they're in kind of a 69 position in the corner, and then they end up falling backwards, and they're just laying there. And then Phantasmo's looking at the camera, just like at them behind him, going like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, no, he just like casually leans against the mat, like, "Look what we've done. Look at this.
We've created this mess, and it's hilarious." Exactly. It was fun though. It was great.
It was exactly what it needed to be. So the thing about like people like El Phantasmo and Taiji Ishimori especially, they can be hilarious when they want to be. They're doing the flippy dippy back rake spots that Amy loves, and then you can have Taiji Ishimori flip that switch and be 100% all go no quit like junior ace. So it's cool to see this out of them, as long as down the road you do get those badass spots where they have the time to really be like fucking assassins.
Yeah.
So
yeah, totally. I thought they were going to win this, to be honest. I thought
I did too.
6 or 9 are on like borrowed time. It was like, give it to them, 69th champion, ha ha ha, and then back to business kind of thing. I was surprised they retained, but it's fun. They add like a anytime you've got Taguchi, in there, adds a little bit of levity to the card. Not every match on the card has to be like, brutal, strong style, intensity. And so you get, a bit of a chuckle in one of the earlier matches, and it's fun.
Yep. And, I think teaming Wato with Taguchi is a great way to like keep Wato calm, let Taguchi quarterback the match, and Wato gets to just chill out for a bit.
And Wato's been good. He's been putting in work in those matches, man. And
he really has.
I was seeing glimpses of the young lion that sort of everybody fell in love with, before he went away and things like that. There's a part where, showing fire and stuff. And I'm like, oh, there's that kid. He didn't look as spooked as he did when he first returned.
Yeah.
Exactly.
100% right. So it was really, really good. I think, they made a remark on commentary about how Taguchi was able to kind of quarterback a match for Prince Devitt and let like string Devitt along a little bit. And it's like, are you really going to compare Wato to Prince Devitt? That
I also caught that, and I was like, oh, fuck, that's setting some stairs for Wato to walk up.
You're putting a heavy yoke on that cow right there.
It is, and will Wato ever be the next Prince Devitt? I don't know, but I did think it was an interesting history to sort of rewind back to and go, Taguchi has history doing this, at helping build stars and being a successful tag team wrestler. Whether Wato will get to those heights, I don't know about it, but I think at least they're trying to tell a story. Otherwise, you're like, what else you said about Wato? This nervous kid is lost, and I guess they're just going to put him here, and hopefully Taguchi can teach him how to wrestle. It doesn't really have the same vibe to it,
I think they're doing a good thing by keeping him with Taguchi and let Taguchi, show him the ropes for a while, and show him that you don't have to be scared. These guys are all out here to put on the show together, and they're out here to have fun, and
does
entertain us.
So with them like dropping those seeds, could you potentially see a Master Wado heel turn onto Gucci, a la Prince Devitt, like down the line? I feel like an evil Wado could have something going on.
You know what? It would be a long time down the way, but like, yeah, sure, give it to me.
Yeah.
If
See what
fuck
he
it,
goes.
let's
Exactly.
go. Let him start up his own Bullet Club.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Exactly. He could put like an all black contact lens over his wonky eye, and he can,
there we go.
and like just go full evil and stuff. It is like he has like a slightly like lazy-eyed and nervous sort of face. Not that is a bad thing or whatever, but like if he's going to be a super intense heel, he's got to do something to not look shook all the time, I guess. Like
if he wants to really be a heel, he can just keep punching his microphone.
Yeah, like I just did. Get on board, kid. Right. I'll show you a thing or two. Jesus. I don't know if I should have talked about anything. Let's skip over.
Get the brass knucks there, ghetto.
Yeah.
All right.
What am I going to do with my hands?
I don't know what to do with my hands.
We're lost.
We wake up in the morning, we piss excellence.
Yeah,
all right.
So that's true.
The fourth match. We're going to keep it going. The fourth match was KOPW 2022 championship match, a no rope ring out, don't call it a sumo match between Toru Yano and our Lord and Savior Taichi. And what do I say about Toru Yano matches? They're great because it's under 5 minutes and Miho Abe was there.
Yeah, exactly. When they were starting this, first of all, Taichi coming out in the like Nogi style robe was banging. That was awesome.
Oh, so cool.
And then when they're like explaining all the rules and shit, I'm like, oh no, this is lost. Like this is so much. And I'm like, and I think it's going to be a nightmare. But you know what? Like the actual intro and pulling off the ropes and stuff took longer than the actual match. And I was totally fine with it. One nice big judo throw and it was over and we get to not talk about it anymore. Sweet.
I was really, I was kind of upset when they didn't just like while they were explaining the rules and everything like that. You could be taking the ropes off. We don't got to sit here and watch you take the ropes off. You can take the ropes off during the entry.
Yeah.
The entrances. You could take the ropes off.
I think they forgot. I think they were like, "Oh yeah, we said we're going to do this. Quick, whip them down." To their credit, though, those ropes were off fast. They were gone.
They were.
Yeah, that young line efficiency was pretty killer.
So one thing that while I've been here live, coming at you live from the isolation station with the COVIDs, I have recently gotten into sumo. Like I found a YouTube channel. I was recommended a YouTube channel by friend of the podcast, Nicole. What's up, Booze Leprechaun? And she's kind of been like taking me by the hand and leading me into the wonderful magical world of sumo wrestling. And I love this shit now. So it was pretty funny to see like Taichi come out like wearing the robe and stuff like that, and like he always does like those sumo, like he swats his belly and he like stomps his feet and stuff like that. It's cool to see where that like kind of comes from now. And it was really weird because I watched they had a Basho, a tournament in March, and I watched the entire thing, all 15 days of it I watched in the last like 3 days. And it's like 30-second matches, it doesn't matter, it's fine. But like it's funny to see those guys go at it and they're fucking slapping the shit out of each other, bashing their heads together, giving each other concussions, cutting their foreheads open and shit like that. And then Toru Yano and Taichi come out and it was like, woo, like, this must be like watching UFC or something like that after you've just watched Karate Kid. Yeah. So it was a lot of fun, and they found a way to make it entertaining. They found a way to make it quick. Taichi, he's single-handedly saved the tag team division. Well, not single-handedly, he had a partner, but they saved the tag team division, and now they're going to save King of Pro Wrestling.
Yeah.
He wins the KOPW provisional title trophy. He's the holder, we'll say that, and then he just calls out Shingo Takagi. Fucking madman.
I love that, but the KOPW thing is a piece of shit. Like, and all the dumb rules and stuff. It's so overbooked. Like, I'm like, can we do away with this? If Taichi is going to do it and they're like, he's bringing it back or whatever, at the very least, he's got to get his own trophy. That would be awesome if he just commissioned his own, like, elaborate Taichi trophy that's, like, as big as him and he carries it around and stuff, because that spray painted Yano piece of shit. Yeah. Yeah.
Put the Tai Chi mask on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Great.
Like, just really do that. That would be killer. Or his own spinner belt with the mask on it would be pretty great.
Yes.
That kind of
thing.
thing.
And then afterwards, so yeah, he challenges our boy Shingo Takagi. Shingo doesn't bother to come out because, like, really?
Yeah.
And afterwards, during the post-match interview session, he again challenges Shingo Takagi. Shingo comes out and he's like, okay, sure, whatever, bro. Taichi challenges him. He throws out the name Ganryojima. Do you know what Ganryojima Island is?
Oh,
Ganryojima
I do
Island.
know what it is.
Yes.
Did he say that?
Antonio Inoki Masa Saito Island Death Match. He says he wants to bring that match for the 50th anniversary.
Against Shingo.
He
wants to go to the island.
He wants to bring back the Island Death Match.
I missed that completely. Now I understand why you were so excited and I am not popping like crazy. That is the most ridiculous shit I've ever watched in my life. And now I am so fucking pumped to see it. I'm a little bit annoyed because Shingo has like flirted with this before. When they did the stadium, him and Suzuki were flirting with the idea of like an exploding barbed wire match or whatever.
Barbed wire death match.
They obviously didn't do it, and it was very disappointing to me. And then now they're talking about this. I want to see this so bad. I want them landing in helicopters on the fucking thing. I want it to go for like 60 minutes or whatever the original one went for.
Do you remember I think it was in the late 90s, maybe early 2000s, someone did a shot-for-shot remake of the movie Psycho with Vince Vaughn instead of Anthony Perkins?
What? No.
Yeah. I want them to do a shot-for-shot remake of the Island Death Match with Shingo as Antonio Inoki and Taichi as Masa Saito.
Jesus Christ.
I want them to do it completely straight face too. Like no smiling and winking at the camera. You do it 100%, dude. Oh, it'd be great.
Oh, I'm not sure it would be great because I think if you remember watching it was a fucking nightmare. But like, I imagine if they did it like, well, like, I don't know how you do it well, but how did I miss this when they were talking about it? I guess it didn't twig to me that it was that island, or whatever. I didn't even hear anything about an island. I'm so upset with myself for not being more excited about this. It's my most anticipated match of the year.
Oh, I'm so into it, bro.
Imagine if Taichi fucking just resurrects that as his defense place. He's just like, I'm the king of pro wrestling champion. You must fly to my fucking elaborate island like I'm a Bond villain, and that's the only way that you can. You come there, and there's a fucking throne, and Taichi's just there, holy emperor.
Chilling on it like Shao Kahn or something?
Yeah, and he's got, like, servants and shit, and, like, they just fly in different challenges where he just dispatches them on his island. That's so fucking sick. Miho Abe's down on the beach like, the plane, and fucking in comes whoever, like, and it just runs for like a year.
Room, like in Enter the Dragon.
He's like got a fucking Castle Grayskull, but he's just like in this like skull, like throne of skulls, like waiting for. Dude,
give us the book. Give us the book.
Imagine that they just like do extensive renovations to the island, like over the course of 6 months, where they just build a palace and various war rooms and traps and stuff. And Taichi's just he's not even on other shows. He just lives on the island defending this bullshit. And then he's like,
the best part.
And I defend my trophy. And they enter the trophy room, and it's just that little piece of shit that fucking Naito's on like a pedestal with a light on it.
And then the best part,
my most precious
he loses it on like December 27th in some fucking Karukanal show. He doesn't even get to be declared king of pro wrestler.
Nah, he loses at the last second when Yano rolls him up in the fucking, in a fucking tarpaulin ring bag match or some bullshit. Oh no, COVID's killed him.
Oh god,
do the test now. You'll get to have tomorrow off.
I get the long COVID.
Oh, fuck.
All right.
I've never been more excited about anything now. Everything else New Japan has offered is now irrelevant to me than Tai Chi's reign as king of pro wrestling.
I will give someone a shiny 5-pound note.
Ooh.
And they are shiny now because they're making it out of some weird fucking plastic.
Australia
if you can somehow Photoshop Tai Chi on an island in a throne for us here at the Okada Shorts podcast, I will offer you that crisp, clean 5-pound note.
That's hot.
Please give it to us. It's all I've ever wanted.
Yeah, and it won't be a bank transfer. He'll physically post you that 5-pound note anywhere in the world. Dude, the postage will cost more
close
than
enough,
the
I'll walk. I'll walk there.
They don't want that. You've got COVID.
That's true. I got COVID. I probably don't want to walk there anyway. I'll start breathing all heavy like that.
Yeah, no. All right, on to the next one, but that's very exciting.
All right, so the next match that we wanted to talk about after the break. Well, actually, during the break, they announced the new dates for the G1.
They did. That was
for
exciting
this year. Yeah. Did you notice anything weird about the dates?
I'm not that observant. I noticed they weren't at the end of the year because the Olympics isn't on. So what's weird about the dates? Are there more days?
There are more days.
Yeah, because it goes for like just over a month, right?
I think there were 2 extra dates. I might be wrong. It might be 1.
Okay.
But I don't know what that means. I don't know if they're going to start doing
more people.
Could be more people. It could be like 1 extra person per block, or it could be that they're going to do a semifinal match with the 2 highest people in the block. Could be something like that. I'm not sure what it means, and I'm very excited.
Yeah, cool. No, that's it. It was cool to see it return to like the middle of the year. It means not as long a wait for it. I'm very excited.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping for at this point that we would have had some announcements for Best of the Super Junior, since that's coming up. But actually, they hinted that that's coming today. So before we get off the podcast, maybe we can get some breaking news. I don't know if they'll announce it first thing in the morning, but we'll see.
We'll check the feed before we finish.
Yeah. The next matchup, Hiromu Takahashi in a losing effort to Evil for the Never Six-Man champion, or I'm sorry, the Never Openweight Championship. 15 minutes 47 seconds. Evil with the Evil, and he's all evil, and Hiromu's pants said evil.
Yeah, I like that.
And
I
did love that Hiromu came out with this Misfits horror business jacket. And I was just like, yes, Misfits Hiromu is best Hiromu. Let's go.
Yeah, it was badass. Also, I think it's pretty worth noting that with Hyper Battle, this whole show went at hyper speed. No match outstayed its welcome, and New Japan was a little bit guilty of that. 20-minute matches with nothing going on and stuff like that during the COVID kind of thing, filling time. This whole card has flown by at this point when you're watching it. So fast and so rewarding. And this match was killer, man. It felt like I was seeing glimpses of original Hiromu, running on the apron, missile drop kicks to the outside and stuff. He was just going sick the entire time. He was making sure that nobody forgot who he was. And if he's going to be a potential contender for the open weight title, he's making sure it seems credible, and he was getting the better of them when he went to do the sunset bomb on Evil, and then Togo comes in, kicks him in the chest, and then sunset bombs Evil onto Togo and stuff like that. It was awesome.
He was finding great new interesting ways to get around all the hot boy
bullshit.
shit.
Yeah,
so,
it was great.
I was really excited about how Hiromu had such confidence. Normally Hiromu has confidence, don't get me wrong, but he had so much confidence in this match. You can really see that he feels at home wrestling people this size now.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, we're all asking for it. We're all waiting for it to, he's going to move up, but he still seemed a little small. So like compared to Evil, who's not a small dude.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit further down the line still. We're all jumping the gun a little bit, but man, what a great match. This was a lot of fun. And the even though the House of Torture shit was what ultimately did Hiromu in, it wasn't overbearing, and the old stuff, the old tricks that they had all kind of got caught out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
it was funny.
they had to kind of
my
play it by
wife was
ear.
watching it with me, but she was sort of only half paying attention at the time, and she seen the part where, you know, Togo's like punching Hiromu and stuff. She's like, I thought he was versing Evil. Is he versing Togo? I'm like, no, he's versing Evil, but because it's House of Torture, he's versing them both like at the same time.
Yeah,
like,
you don't get an Evil match without Dick Togo anymore.
Exactly,
it's just not what happens.
Exactly, but yeah, it was still fun. Lots going on, like you said. It didn't overstay its welcome, and I felt like, especially like the ending sequence and stuff like that flowed really well. And there was, you know, some near falls where I thought Hiromu was done or I thought Evil was done and they weren't. I like that Evil, you know, hits Hiromu with the ball shot and then Hiromu just immediately does it back to him. He doesn't give a fuck. Like, yeah, it was good, man. I really enjoyed it. And I think if you're the two matches that are coming after this, you're like, oh, that was better than I thought it was going to be. Okay, Evil's, you know, they're really good together. So I think
they are, and I think like a 15-minute House of Torture match is so much better than, like you said, a 30-minute House of Torture match.
Exactly, and
you know,
I don't know. So, after that, do you feel like that feud's over? Because I don't know if it's all the way over yet because he wasn't really beat clean.
I don't think it's over yet. I think it's going to be on the back burner for a little bit because after the match, who showed up?
Oh, that's right. Tamatonga showed up after. Yeah, you're right.
Captain Handsome Tamatonga showed up.
Exactly. And then, you know, put a bit of a beat down on him and declared his intention to challenge for the Never Openweight. And that's where you were seeing some, you know, some disconcerted looks from Loa as it was going, like he seemed conflicted. So, yeah, I wonder whether that may come into play when the actual title match happens. I wonder whether we're going to see Loa side with Evil over his brother.
Oh, man, I must have missed that.
Yeah, you didn't. So, when he's on the ground and Thomas talking that shit, it showed Loa and he looked conflicted. He looked sort of like he was shaking his head a little bit and seemed sort of like he's not real. And when they put on the Hontai shirts, you know, with Tanahashi was like the last to put it on and was kind of like a little bit sus about it and stuff. I don't think he's done with Bullet Club. I think I don't think it's gone his way, but Tama's in such a happy place and, you know, and so focused on, you know, rebuilding himself that I don't think he's seeing it.
Oh, no.
I know.
Oh, problems.
You look concerned.
Trouble in paradise, buddy. Trouble in paradise.
So, yeah, there may be a brother versus brother kind of feud coming down the line. Whether
Tonga Loa as the House of Torture, like, enforcer?
Yeah.
Oh.
It could be interesting.
Calling it now.
Yeah, I wonder what kind of match those brothers could have with each other. I wonder if that would be.
Dude, they've been having matches for 30 plus years, you know, like
together,
and growing up in their household for sure. Also, we still don't know where Hikuleo is going to fall.
Yeah, exactly.
On this whole thing.
I
you
mean,
would think that he's automatically
going
to join his brothers,
right?
but
yeah, you'd think that. But which brother though? That's the thing. If they
could be a thing.
If they split, you know.
And he's been like 100% all go no quit Bullet Club like since he started. So he may not have to worry about going with which brother. He's going to say, I'm going to join Bullet Club first. One of you guys can come to me.
Yeah, exactly. So it's interesting. There are a lot of irons in the fire, but I think it's pretty clear that Tama is 100% out of Bullet Club.
He's done.
And focus on himself. But yeah, I'm not sure about the others yet.
That might be best for Tonga Loa. Tonga Loa, like,
I think so.
He's good in a tag team, but if they're going to split Tamatonga off into a solo run, Tonga Loa may not be able to follow that route. So
yeah, and like you say, as like a HOT enforcer kind of role, you know, wearing that kind of gear, a bit more evil, standing in the way of his brother and stuff, that may be a bit more interesting for him than just being the like sidekick to babyface Tama Tonga. And I feel like it benefits Tama better as well if it's him against the world rather than, with his own little team. I feel like him against the world is the most interesting thing. Like, even, I don't know where Jado stands or whatever. I don't really care, despite his, hot new babyface status, but maybe he even drops out. But yeah, Tama on his own is the way I would go with it.
Yep, 100%. Next match, sixth match, was for the tag team champions, the heavyweight tag team champions, Yoshihashi and Hiroki Goto versus Khan on the Cob, Great-O-Khan. All hail Great-O-Khan, Great-O-Khan, savior of the little children and master of the pancakes.
Correct.
All hail Great-O-Khan and Jeff Cobb. 16 minutes, almost on the nose, and Yoshihashi gets whipped into the Tour of the Islands. We have new tag team champions, Jeff Cobb and All Hail Great-O-Khan. I would love this. I was having so much fun watching this match.
And I there was a few times there where I didn't think they were going to do it. I thought they were going to retain. So yeah, no, it was cool. Shout out to Great-O-Khan, man. What a real life hero. How you keep him as like a bad guy in the, United Empire now that he's like a savior of children in the streets of Japan, a vigilante.
Basically
justice.
Batman.
Yeah, exactly. Just eating pancakes and saving lives is like pretty amazing.
I just have to like think about this whole situation. Like, little girl trying to, some dude's trying to grab her out of nowhere. I want to believe that he was in full gimmick.
Oh, he was in full gimmick. Like, he would have like had the hat on and the
hat,
question mark over his face.
He comes out. He's got the mouthpiece in with
got
the
mouth
fangs on it and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh man!
You know how they said he detained him until the police came? I like to believe he somehow found something he could put him into in the corner, and then he could just sit on him, like he does in the turnbuckles with his. Like,
or he's got him in that iron claw grip.
Yeah, exactly. Just got him down.
He's just like fucking Baron von Raschke, just like squishing his head.
People unless you've been to Japan a lot or understand how that culture works, that entire situation doesn't happen in Japan. You know what I mean? We're from Western countries. We're used to hearing about crime and horrible things and stuff like that. Whenever I've been to Japan, it feels like the safest place in the entire world. That's why, a little girl would be going home on the train on her own, at night around drunk people and stuff. You know what I mean? Nobody worries about anything like that because it's Japan, and it polices itself quite a lot. And so for that situation to happen, and then for him to even do something, the Japanese people can be very keep to themselves too, especially around Tokyo and stuff. Everybody's very quiet and respectful of other people say. And I could 100% see a scenario where some kind of drama like that would be happening and people would just walk past it just because they're like, it's none of my business. I need to keep going. I don't know what's happening. I'm very polite. I'm not going to be that, So the fact that happened, and then just Okan's there, just like a total unit, certified shooter, and just goes, nah, bitch, this is not on my watch, and just shuts it down, is just legendary. It's just such great timing, and then how they're just like, who are you and what happens? And he's just like, I'm the Great-O-Khan from New Japan Pro Wrestling. You can watch me every week on TV. And then just fucking strolls off into the night. What a fucking unit, man. So awesome.
What an absolute fucking unit. What a hero.
That was one thing that, when I was watching it, and there was a few near falls and stuff, and I thought they weren't going to do it. But I was like, he can't not win now. He's got to be a champion. Nope. You know what I mean? The eyes are on him Japan eyes are on him. So put a title on him and, show him winning.
And how do you keep him as a heel at this point? They fucking did it. He came out with his commendation letter framed, put it in everybody's face, and was like, "You have to shake my hand. You have to shake my hand. You have to call me a hero."
Is that what that was? Is that so I missed that part. Sorry, I was doing some different bits and pieces while watching this. But so I saw him holding that big plaque, and I didn't know what it was. Is that what it was? It was his commendation, hero award, and then he was just that's so funny.
You have to call me a hero. You have to say I'm a hero. You have to shake my hand, man. Get over here and say how much you love me. Oh, it was so great.
That's so funny.
Great.
Man, I was finishing some chores. I saw him like shaking hands with people, and I was like, oh, it's okay. They're kind of like hinting that he's like the nicer one of the pair, and then Cobb wouldn't do it or whatever. I didn't realize that like he's carrying it around like an award. That's the coolest shit of all time. I can't wait till he uses that as a weapon and breaks it over somebody's head.
Oh, it's gonna be awesome. What an absolute brain for the business, eh?
That's so good, man. That's so good. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So great match. Jeff Cobb looked like a monster. Like he was going around and just like, I think there was a control spot where Yoshihashi had him in like a knee bar, and I thought that was going to be the end of it.
I thought that was a wrap. That's selling on there from Cobb. Like I thought it was over.
Yeah. So that he was selling like a champ. He's been, he's had problems with his knee and things like that, and we've seen those little trails.
And a credit to how far that Yoshihashi's come as well, that we could believe that he could win that, because there was a time not that long ago that I would have been like, not even thinking it was over, because to me Yoshihashi was like nobody, and they've completely rehabilitated him and made him and Goto such a threat that I'm like, they're just going to fucking win this again, So I think it was a fun flip. I think they're going to be a really dominant tag team, and I think the belts serve their purpose to rehabilitate Yoshihashi and Goto, and it'll be interesting to see what they do next. They should have side note, they should have really had matching tag gear, though. Once they became champions, they should have both been in that Goto dark blue, and felt like a unit. But Yoshihashi still had his same terrible gear. So that's a
well, they both had sticks.
Yeah.
Maybe that was their thing.
Yeah, I need colors. I need matching colors and gear.
Dude, Yoshihashi came out in UE gear. He came out in United Empire gear.
Yeah, he was
like
green.
He was green, gold, and white and black.
A fucking idiot. Just splash out fucking once and just go Goto, get your gear, dude. See what I'm wearing now? Just have them make it in that expensive fabric that you're in, that like nice dark blue, and we'll be a tag team. I bet he tried, and Goto was like, can't do it, brother. That doesn't work for me.
I got to buy my kids. I got to save for my kids' college expenses and stuff. I can't buy new gear today.
I think I don't think he was expecting him to pay for it, but I like to think that Goto's like, it's pretty exclusive. I'm not really sure I want to share my look with you.
What they should have done is, remember when Yoshihashi used to have that like hot pink and like neon green gear?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They should have put Goto in hot pink and neon green.
That would have been sick, actually. I had no problem with that. That would have been awesome.
I love that. Like hot pink's my thing. I've been painting hot pink on every miniature I paint lately.
Well, it's a great color. I also really enjoy pink. That said,
for sure,
I feel like Yoshihashi just should have worn a color that wasn't United Empire. Is the bigger problem, Yeah. So anyway,
got to think that through.
Come on, guys.
Yoshihashi, friend of the podcast, Yoshihashi, give us a call.
Yeah.
We're going to talk you through this, bro.
We got you. We got all your fashion tips sorted. All right. So absolute banger, though. Another one for the card. And then we're starting to get into the real fire now.
Yes. Okay. So this is the match that I feel like fell through the cracks up until this day. I had to put out the tweet. I had to call people out on it. I said, with all the stuff going around with Hiromu, with all the stuff going around with Tama Tonga, with all the stuff going around with Zack and Okada, this match fell through the cracks, and I said, you guys are about to see a fucking banger. This shit is gonna bop. El Desperado, the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, winning over Show, Murder Machine Show with the Pinche Loco
what a great
in 20 minutes and 33 seconds. God damn, what a fucking match this was,
dude,
man.
Another one where I'm like, he's gonna fucking lose this. Show is gonna win this match, was how it felt by the end. And I'm like, and that's a fucking travesty, but I'm kind of here for it. And like,
when Despy like fell off the ring apron and just like folded in half over the barrier.
Oh, I thought he'd broken his hip. Like,
he was done. I was like, he's a madman. How's he still fucking? How is he still fucking walking right now?
He must have a bruise today, like no other. Just absolute devastation. I was like, they're just going to call it. Like, it's just going to be inaudible and it's going to be over. But yeah, it again, like we talked about with, like the Sonata injury or whatever. Not that he was injured, but it just added to the match. There was real peril there, and they just turned it out, man. It was absolutely awesome. I would say probably Show's best match ever. I don't think that's an exaggeration in any way.
Sho's had a lot of really great matches with Robbie, with Hiromu, and things like that. But this was, I wouldn't be surprised if this and the main both get 5s from Stinky Uncle Dave. This was an absolute masterclass in fun, and it was the way for them to do like the House of Torture stuff like 100% right. It was so good. When Sho started tearing Desperado's mask, I got fucking lit. I was like, they're gonna do the super handsome Despy again. We're gonna get to see that beautiful face that's hidden under that mask.
I love it when Despy doesn't give a fuck when his mask comes off. It like to the point where it's like, why even try, bro? Because he'll just still murk you like while it's off. Like, but what it served to do was, don't you think it changed the facial expression of the mask? So there was a point later on where he was screaming, and because the eye had changed, because it had been ripped and stuff, he looked even more manic than normal. And I was like, wow, the tears to the mask made him, like you said, sinister, and made him look even more brutal than normal. And I was like, that's interesting. It kind of like changed the eye expression.
Yeah, it's God.
And speaking of another one where a submission, I thought he was fucking gone as well. He was laying there, and it was so close, and he's his little eyes rolling into the back of his head, and I'm like, fuck, this is a wrap. And then he just flings his leg like and gets it onto the thing at the last second. Like, yeah, it was good. It was really good.
Yeah, when Sho was working his arm. It was an arm match, right? Because yes, because Despy was having trouble like getting him up for like Guitarra del Angel and stuff like that. So like that was really cool that he had to like kind of force himself to pull out the Pinche Loco. He knew he couldn't win with the numero dos because he didn't have the arm strength to like hold Sho in place and stuff. Yeah, fucking great! What a master class and awesome.
It was great.
Yeah, such shorts to there.
Yeah, we've stopped even talking. We haven't given several matches in a row ratings because the whole show is short, so there's nothing to really talk about there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was literally killer. I would recommend it, and I think it really shows where Sho is gonna be and what he can be. Do you remember that slap? There was like they were brawling in the crowd. And there was one part where Desperado slapped Sho across his chest, and Sho sold it like he died. He just goes, ah, and just falls to the ground. It's like a death in a video game. Like he just completely fucking wasted. Yeah, that's literally his face. He was just like, ah, as he just like crumpled to the ground. It was so funny.
Despy's got heavy hands, dude. I wouldn't doubt that was a shoot reaction.
Exactly. It was like, that's literally what it was. He just died and then froze in place as he collapsed to the ground.
Oh, God. Well, funny face Sho, like, there are very few that can pull funny faces like Sho can.
Yeah, so exactly.
I
like the nickname Murder Machine. That's cool.
Oh, it's so cool, right?
Yeah, exactly. What was he before? Like Shock Arrow or something?
It was something to do with, like, was it high voltage Show or something like that?
Something like that. Yeah, something exactly. Like that. Murder Machine is quite a bit better.
Murder Machine, better. Sounds like a Death Clock album.
Yeah, I know. That's sick.
Great. Dig it. Shorts, 100%.
Yep.
Please watch this match. It is awesome.
Tiny shorts.
If you're an El Desperado fan, or if you're not a House of Torture fan, this might change your mind, because like I said, it was the House of Torture stuff done right. And Desperado he's an absolute ace. Like, I don't know why anybody was sleeping on this match, though. It was bound to be fucking fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it was killer, man. It was really, really good.
Do you think that they're going to change the junior heavyweight belt?
I mean, there's the possibility to do it right. It doesn't really match now, because before it used to kind of match the V4. It was kind of like the mini version of that.
The V4, the IC belt, and the junior belt all shared that same sort of lineage. Yeah.
And so, I mean, they definitely could. I wouldn't like it to be exactly the same. I'd like it to maybe have its own vibe completely, so it doesn't feel like the baby belt, so it feels like its own league. Would be cool.
Would be really cool. Like, because the US belt, the Never belt, and the tag team belts and stuff, like, they all look different. There is no common visual language with any of those belts anymore.
Yeah.
So it would be really cool to have and I mean, maybe it's maybe they've given it its own visual language by not changing it, I guess, but it's just a reminder. It's just a little hole in my heart,
Yeah,
that
I
used
think
to have.
so.
We
I
used to
think they
have.
could change it up. While we're talking about belts as well, we obviously talk about matches, and we skipped over the little thing where Sonata came out and had to relinquish the US title as well. I think that happened somewhere before this. It was looking great, but obviously his orbital bone needs more time, so he has to give up the US title. It's his first singles title. And he's like, I want to relinquish it to Tanahashi, the man who held it before me, who I respect. And then Will Ospreay comes out like, fuck no, that's not happening on my watch, governor, shim shim charoo. And then and then Tanahashi comes out, and it was like a fun little thing, but it's like, Sonata's in full babyface mode, and it is all about him and respects him. And both Tanahashi and Sonata dropped English here, making me love them both. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Ospreay versus Tanahashi, which is a killer. I'm not sure I've seen that before, or not in a kind of, big singles program. And then also it's kind of, I guess, what I sort of wanted a little bit for Sonata, which was some time off and kind of a bit of a rebuild for him, Hopefully, his eye is okay and everything, and we look back in, I don't know, a year going like, that injury was the best thing that ever happened to him. He took time away, they re-debuted him, and, he worked on things and comes back on fire.
Yeah, I mean, prayers for Sonata, thoughts and prayers. I really hope that the dude can come back with more fire than he's ever had before, because that's what everybody wants to see from him. You, me, the American people, the Japanese people, everyone. They want to see Sonata show a little fire, and like
he was getting
he can still be the super cool dude, just show fire during your matches and things like that. Anyway, I hope that time off is good for him. I hope he heals up, and I hope he comes back better than ever. So that would be fantastic. I feel so fucking...
Yeah. Predictions of Tanahashi versus Ospreay.
Ooh, I think it would be cool to have Ospreay holding the Rev Pro British heavyweight belt and the US heavyweight belt. I think that they could do something fun with that. Having Big Red and the new big Union Jack belt would be super fun. That would look really great on Ospreay. I think I'm gonna go for Ospreay on this one. I think there's more that we can do with him than we would be able to do with Tanahashi. Yeah,
I think so too. And he's a bit more well traveled. He's popping up in the US all the time and things like that. I think it would be more actively, defended. And they said it was going to be at the that Dome show they've got coming up, right?
Dominion, yeah.
Yeah.
No, not Dominion. Sorry, Dontaku.
Yeah, Dontaku. So May
1st, I think.
Okay. And is that before or after the Moxley match he's got coming up?
After. Moxley match is this weekend.
Oh, really? Oh, that's coming in hot. Wow, he must have been straight on a plane after that event. Okay, crazy.
He did, they were saying he was going to get straight on a plane, go to the Strong taping, and then straight up to Chicago and ready to roll.
Jesus. That's a schedule. Respect. All right, then. Yeah. I guess without further ado, it's time to talk about the main event.
All right. So, their main event, the 8th match, IWGP Sekai Hebikyu World Heavyweight Championship. 4th champion, Kazuchika Okada, in his 3rd defense against the New Japan Cup 2022 winner, Zeko Sabo Jr. Oh my God, this was so much fun. 28 minutes, 25 seconds. Okada wins by Rainmaker just barely.
Yeah.
This whole match, Zach was, I'm going to tap you out. I'm going to take your arm. I'm going to take that Rainmaker arm from you. I'm going to snap it off. I'm going to put it on a mantle above my fireplace, and you won't be able to hit me with this Rainmaker. I'm going to tap you out. I'm going to tap you out. I'm going to tap you out. Then at some point, he's worked that arm to the point where it's killing Okada every time he throws a punch, every time he throws a chop, every time he does anything. But Zach sees that he's still throwing those punches. He's still throwing those chops. And Zach goes, oh, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to try and win any way I can. I'm not just going to try and tap him out. I'm going to hit him. I'm trying to hit him with the Zach driver.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try and, roll him up. I don't even give a shit. It's win now. He did not stick to his battle plan, and he ended up losing. And I think that's exactly what happened. If he would have kept working that arm, kayfabe, here we go. If he would have kept working that arm, he could have won the match. He did not stick to his game plan, and it lost him.
Yeah.
And I think that's the story they're going to tell.
He started to panic, kind of thing. Like, he was like, it needs to work faster. And you see that as well. Like, he goes for the Zach driver at that point. Okada counters it and then hits him with his own Zach driver. Like he's ready for
the
it.
landslide. Yeah,
exactly. And just flips it round on him. And that's always the story of Okada. He's always got those counters and stuff ready to go. And it just, when he was finally able to shoot it off and just hits him with one Rainmaker and it's over. Like, that was it. Bang.
I thought that they might have him kick out of the Rainmaker since he'd been working the arm for so long. But like, my heart was actually pounding. Like, I was sitting there, I'm like, oh my God, is he going to kick out? He's been working that arm. He couldn't possibly hit him with it. And like, nah, it's the Rainmaker, son.
Yeah.
It's a one-shot kill.
Yeah. I like that he's not, like, he really protects that finish. Like you said, he spent a year plus rehabilitating it. And so he's not getting to the point where it takes multiple hits on that unless there's a very good reason. So yeah exactly. It's a wrap when you get done with that. And Zach just dropped like a sack of shit, basically. There was no flips or anything like that. It was just bang, hits him and it's over. Like, just like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And as a new English person, as a newly minted Englishman, my heart sank.
Yeah.
I was so conflicted, and I had an argument. I don't know if you've listened to the new episode of Smark that came out the other day, Smark Foundation podcast with my friend Shane Campbell. What up, Shane? And I had a fight with him on that, basically.
I haven't listened to it. I will have to listen to it.
We were having a talk with about this match specifically, and I said that I wanted Zack Sabre to win, and he's like, you fucking call yourself an Okada fan. You come out here, you said you wanted Shingo to win at Wrestle Kingdom. You say you want fucking, Zack to win now. Like, you're just coming out here. And he's like, this is the third time since we started this fucking podcast and I've heard you talk shit about Okada and say that you want Okada to lose. It's like, no. I don't want Okada to lose. I want Zack to win. There's a difference.
You did say that
I'm
before
not rooting
when we
against
spoke.
Okada.
You said you're never rooting against Okada. You're just rooting for the
never
other guy.
root against Okada.
Yeah.
But imagine like Okada in verbally submitting, not even tapping out, in having to verbally submit to Zack Sabre Jr. could have sent Sabre into the fucking stratosphere.
It would have. I think. I will talk about it before it happens. Just like, surely there's no way. Like, Okada's only just got the title and it's going to be a big run and stuff. I'm like, yeah, more than likely. But at the moment, they're throwing things at the wall and changing it up, and it's a new title that doesn't have that super long lineage and stuff. I'm like, they might just flip it. You know what I mean? They might just go, bang, we'll do it. He may, I was like, if he gets it, I don't see like a huge, devastating run for Zack or anything like that. And I imagine that Okada would be getting it back. But they might just do it for shock and awe. So I was definitely watching it like, oh, is this it? But yeah, it was really good. It was a shorts match for sure. And yeah, they're great together. So there's no.
They are so much fun to watch. Yeah, I feel like, so I'm gonna say it now. Like, Zack's gonna win the belt.
Yeah,
I don't know when, but it didn't come home today, but it's coming home.
Yeah, they're planting the seeds that he's a title contender, like, for
absolutely.
Sure. And they have before, but it feels like even more so. Like, he's right there.
Is Zack Sabre Jr. the best worker in the company right now?
No, but he's up there. He's right.
Who's the better worker?
Okada's the best.
Fair. All right.
Yeah. Okada's the best. And there may be like others that have, maybe more physical gifts or, or I don't know, more dynamic movesets or anything like that. But Okada is the best. Like, he is consistent. Like, when you look at his resume, when you look at, like, show me somebody that's got more like 5, 6, 7-star matches and stuff than Okada with a variety of opponents. Like, he's the best. He's absolutely the best. Like, and
I was telling somebody, my new friend James, that I made the other day. I said, like, Kenny's had 5-star matches since he left New Japan. He ain't had no 7-star matches.
Yeah.
Since he left Japan.
And like, Okada just brings it out of everybody. I mean, Kenny does too. I'm not saying he's necessarily better than Kenny. They were both like, it was like 2 of the best in the world in the same place at the same time, which is why they were so magical together. But like, I just think so much of Okada. You know what I mean? And he's still so young, and like, he's always so creative. Yeah, he's the best, like, for me.
Absolutely.
At the moment. But then that final 4 of the New Japan Cup, you could argue that they're the 4 best in the company. Like, Zack, Shingo, Naito, in no particular order. They're definitely right up there. And then you'd have, I guess, you'd probably have Ospreay creep in there as well, I think. And then
still put Tanahashi in.
Yeah,
you could still put Tanahashi in.
You could still put Tanahashi in there too. You know what I mean? That there's like
I'd say maybe even Kota Ibushi.
Yeah, on the day, and then you've got Jay White as well. You've got some
just
of
the murderers row.
Yeah,
it's an absolute fucking hit parade, isn't it?
Exactly. You've got some of the absolute best wrestlers in the world in that company, and they all, any given day, can be the best wrestler in the world, depending on what it is. But Okada's probably still the best of all. I feel like he's one, and then everybody else is right behind him.
Yeah, we almost rebranded the entire program from Okada shorts to Okan's nipples, but it's okay. We'll have to get Riff Your Pod on the Okan's nipples song.
We would have done it, but I couldn't afford another theme. So shout out Riff Your Pod. Anybody needs podcast music or wrestling intro themes or anything like that, hit him up at Riff Your Pod, making great themes on the spot. So as it comes down, we've said it the entire time, man, an absolute shorts of a show. Can't recommend Hyper Battle enough. If you're wanting to, reboot your love of New Japan, or even wanting to get into it, even if you don't want to sit through the entire New Japan Cup, you could just start now. Watch Hyper Battle and then be right on for everything else. Everything's where it needs to be. You're good to go.
I think you're 100% right. Actually, you know what I think they should do? Listen to our oeuvre, our entire podcast history here, all 3 episodes that we've done.
3 episodes.
Take the match suggestions for the New Japan Cup. And like this is the expanded. This is the Lord of the Rings expanded editions that people try to get you to watch. You got to watch the 4-hour cut. Yeah. So you got to listen to our entire podcast and then play them again and again and again. Just leave them on repeat. and then you watch the matches that we recommend, all the shorts. Then watch this entire fucking show, because Hyper Battle was the tits.
It was sick. And then we're on to what's next. So we're going to be looking at Best of the Super Juniors pretty soon. G1, and I think New Japan's in a really good place after this. So we've chosen a good time to start the show. I'm very excited.
Yeah. Let's look at, it's almost 10 p.m. or I'm sorry, 10 a.m. in Tokyo. Do you think they might have made an announcement today? Because they were hinting, they were saying.
Let's have a quick look. Should have been Googling this instead of talking, so it wouldn't seem as awkward as we look.
Doesn't look like it. There's nothing on their news yet.
Yeah, okay.
Unfortunately.
What's worth a try?
Expect a big announcement directly after we finish recording this episode.
Yeah, exactly, within seconds after shutting it down.
Yeah, we'll cover it on our social media, though, on the podcast Twitter, on our individual Twitters, on our Instagrams, things like that. Follow us there so you can get the latest updates, and basically me just posting match graphics and going LFG.
Tell the people where to find those. What are the handles?
They can definitely find those. Okay, so on Twitter, you can find Rafe at Faces&Feels Cast. You can find myself at El Destructo83, and you can find the show at Okada Shorts. Easy peasy.
Easy peasy. And yeah, we're going to be, up and on all your regular platforms, your Spotify, your Google Podcasts, your iTunes. So get in there, hit subscribe, rate and review if you can, and we'll keep on churning them out.
That's how we do.
Exactly.
And it's those exact same things on Instagram too. It's not just in Twitter. It's like all three of those same handles on Instagram. Yeah,
exactly. We nailed it. Who knew that nobody else would have that at Okada Shorts podcast?
It's such a popular name.
Yeah,
we've been parking it for like 3 years. Didn't even know each other.
It's ready to go. As far as our schedule goes, I'm about to go on leave and be traveling. So I wonder when we're going to record next. But it will. We'll figure that out, and we'll be in your ear holes. Oh, look at that! We've absolutely janked it. Our next recording date is in the middle of my holiday, so we'll probably change up the schedule, and we'll record the week after, I would say. So maybe we'll record
I will be out of town. I'll be in Wales
on the 29th.
The week after. Yeah.
Interesting.
No, wait. Yeah, we leave on the 29th.
Okay.
For Wales.
Maybe we'll do it earlier that week. Either way, that's a problem for Curtis and I, not a problem for the listener. So let's figure it out, and we will have the next episode in your ear holes.
Housekeeping off the microphone.
Housekeeping off the microphone. But, it gives people a realistic look at the life and times of a pro wrestling podcaster. So,
oh, man.
Yeah, that's it.
We're awesome.
I know, right? And so modest and handsome. Dude, I want to thank you so much for your time. I hope your COVID is better. I hope you can return to work tomorrow, but only if you're ready to do so. And for everybody out there, for Curtis and for myself, remember, keep it short.
This has been a Count Out Podcast.